What is the role of the church in nation building? I'm talking about the need for the church to do the needful to keep the country together, regardless of what the people are going through. Some would say it could be the most challenging times for the church that they've witnessed in the past years, especially in Nigeria. So how is the church dealing with this in the midst of this and being able to still preach peace and unity? Joining us this morning on the show is the chairman of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Lagos State Chapter. He is Pastor Yemi Davids. So thank you indeed, Pastor, for coming out on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
I think the church is not feeling the heat because Pastor looks so rested and it doesn't look Nigerian. It has to be based on what we're going through as a people at the moment. So
we are feeling the heat, just trying to keep body and soul together as much as possible. So it's a lot, especially as a leader. You're leading people with empathy, and you feel the pains, especially when requests come in. Like as I said some time ago, our welfare system is really, really stretched because we had to do a lot to fill in the gaps because of the challenges of the times. So it's a whole lot this season for churches.
How easy or hard is it for the church to keep the congregation, the congregants better put at this point in time, on top of their game in the midst of economic woes?
Yeah, I think pastors have a fantastic opportunity at giving people hope, encouragement, which we try to do minimum twice a week, and maybe online, virtually every day. And when people are hopeless, they are helpless. There has to be something you are looking up to, like a vision for the future. So that's what we do. Every Sunday, you want to give people that hope. Yeah, there are some pains now, but it's not going to be forever. It's a transition process. And then how can you best maximize the season? If as leaders we can offer people hope, encouragement, and possibly some strategies to help with the season, then I think that's been a blessing to people. It's a lot.
I'm coming to the strategies. Let's talk about the reality. Because sometimes I've always wanted to ask pastors this particular question. When you try to motivate the church and to make them see something in the face of nothing. How do you come about doing that? Is it just about saying something to them for them to calm down and make things work, or the things that you're actually very optimistic about?
I'm very optimistic. I believe better days are ahead for Nigeria. I believe so, in spite of what we've gone through in the last 5-6 decades. And you also want to help people do what they can beyond the government, right? We've seen entrepreneurs, for instance, achieve a lot. What can you do with ideas in the midst of because when you have problems, then you can also see those problems as opportunities. So it's a mindset. So when you tell people, okay, now there's escalation of food prices, this and that, what opportunities are within that same scope that you can take advantage of? And people come up with beautiful ideas that fits into what is happening now and maybe even make more money. And the other part is, what adjustments do you need to make so that you don't allow the present predicament overwhelm you? I mean, we've had to counsel with people to, maybe downsize, if you have to downsize for now. I've had to do that severally. If you have maybe 2 cars and you feel the fueling is affecting monies for other things, what can you do about that? You teach those things to help people see it, not as the end of the game, but to survive the season.
That may be demoralizing for people who have emotional attachment to things they've achieved. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If the church is saying, okay, you have 2 cars, fueling is very expensive right now, maybe you have to do away with that. That doesn't represent the church. Some would rather be like, God provides everything according to your riches. His riches in glory through Christ Jesus. So you have to keep amassing them.
Our God is the only wise God. I mean, I saw what the Lagos State government said yesterday now, that extending the work at home.
Flexible work.
That's part of what I mean. That's not demeaning or diminishing anyone. There are things you can do to help not to be overwhelmed by the season. I mean, you can work from home. There are people that own businesses in church. Your staff, what can you do to help them, right? Can they work from home twice in a week? What palliatives can you provide for them? what things, what journeys are not necessary that you don't need to take.
Yeah.
It's just wisdom. It's not depressing people. It's the wisdom for the system. Sometimes people are not just aware that they can do those things. Okay, I could do away with this for now, so that my child can go to school. Yeah, that's beautiful.
All right, let me deepen now, because I think you're beginning to touch on the strategies Nigerians may need to adopt in surviving these times, such that it won't escalate into the kind of protest we had a couple of weeks ago, and who knows, hopefully not something even worse. Tell us more
about
the strategies that, I mean, the church, the people generally can adopt at this point in time to help them live through these times.
People need to just introspect, okay? And I think there's not one size fits all, but you just want to educate people that there is a way forward. It's a mindset first. When you agree that there's a way forward, then the ideas begin to flourish. Okay, I could start this business, or this model of business is not going to work at this time. Can I tweak it? Sometimes it's just a little tweaking, and then you make some more money. You know, so it's first a mindset. You don't want to tell somebody this is how you should run your business, or this is what you should do, but you have to tell the person there is a way forward. There's a way you can handle this. There's a way you can reduce costs. You understand? There's a way you can reduce costs while still enjoying some kind of healthy profit. There are some maybe tougher measures you might want to take depending on families. I mean, our family have had to sometimes cut off some things, you know, and you just banter with the kids that, oh, we're not going to have this for some few moments, so, and this is the reason for it. When there is, oh, okay, if we cut this, we're going to have this, okay, I'm in it, you know, and that communication, which I think is one thing I will encourage the leadership of our country to do more. Communicating.
And that's where we're coming to. Most of these leaders we're talking about attend your churches, attend mosques, and belong to other faiths across the federation. How come the church seems not to be able to talk to the leadership of the country, who would always respect them? I know that every woman in this country will call their pastors daddy. They will call their husband maybe Clem or any neighbor, whatever. But the pastors, and ditto even men, they have huge respect to for the pastors. Maybe I don't know.
We're talking. Everybody's talking. The situation is talking. I mean, you know.
But you, for instance, you have access to, for instance, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who knows that when you bring anything to the table, you're speaking from the place of love.
Oh yes, oh yes.
And the fact that you're very true to yourself.
Actually, we're talking, and the engagements will have to continue. One of the things we're saying is dealing with people should not be top-down approach, it should be bottom-up approach. In leadership, when you try to do things from the top, you might not get the real details of what's happening at the bottom. And the policies, the execution of it might not really, you know, reach the people. There'll be a disconnect. But if you have the bottom-up approach where you understand what they're going through first, the situation of things on ground. From that robust information, it now helps to create policies, and then it will help you know how to even communicate, because you understand what they're going through. So those are the things we are saying, and we want to believe.
How come they're not listening? Or it seems that everyone, are you on this table with me? How come does it seem as if they are not listening?
We are praying that they will listen more, you know.
Okay.
We are praying that they will listen more, and we also would love to talk more, or be allowed to talk more. Leadership is very complex, I won't lie to you. As I said in one forum that when there was a protest, the NSAS protest, I remember I was talking to younger people, and I said, yeah, as long as you are expressing yourself is fine, but also prepare for leadership. Because when you get there, you might do worse than that. Because people just talk and talk and talk. I mean, just like when I was young, I used to think my mother was a wicked mother. I used to think my mother was this because she used to, you know, like spank me, all those things. So I used to wonder, when I got married, and I saw, my wife, the things she had to go through, taking care of the kids. Oh,
it's okay.
I said, Mommy, try though. You know, so sometimes I won't lie, the complexity of leadership. And I would encourage young people, while we're protesting, agitating, expressing ourselves, let's prepare. It's going to come. It's going to come. It's coming. The painful thing will be when it's now, in quote, your turn. You're not now prepared, and you don't offer anything better than what we're experiencing now. So one of the ways we're also talking is to train people in-house.
Okay.
Yeah, because they say it's better to light a candle than curse the darkness.
The darkness, yeah.
So you want to train people. You know, we're used to having Bible schools in churches where we train pastors, evangelists, and it's fine. But I think there needs to be a bit of shift to training people for leadership, because those people, because the people in leadership are from the polity, right? They're from us, all of us. They were not imported from Iran or imported from Zimbabwe. They're from Nigeria, as you said, from churches, from mosques.
Yeah.
So the bit we can do is to train our people.
Okay. Now, Pastor, let's deepen this conversation.
Yeah.
I know we just have a couple of minutes to go. A very hungry man.
Yeah.
I wonder how the word of God will be the bread onto his table and fill his tummy physically, maybe his soul and spirit. Okay. A very hungry man needs to ever, something good to swallow. When he doesn't have that in any part of the country, he becomes very angry, agitated, and anything will snap from there. How do you talk to these people who lack food to eat, who don't see as much as any dint of light near even the closest tunnel to them, to still be able to stay as good citizens, abide by the laws of the land, and stay united as a people?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot for the church. We try to do it as direct as possible. Virtually every week, how to give people food stuff.
Like donate to them.
A lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. The reason churches don't talk is because we're not doing it to impress you.
Okay.
Because people are saying churches are not doing much. They're doing a lot. But if I give you food, I don't want to now go and announce your name, show your face, I gave you rice, I'll give you beans. No, it's for your own sake. So that's the least we can do. And I would encourage government to do more. Do more.
Why you said do more, Pastor? Can you please expand?
It's still that bottom-up approach where when you're giving out things, let it be seen, let it be clear. Because we keep hearing that people have been giving palliatives, but and I ask people in church, have you received? Somebody says no. So you wonder, that means there's a disconnect. So I think the strategy for distribution, consistency of it, communication of it has to be more robust. That's what I mean by they have to do more. Communicating about it more, and then doing it, the process of distribution, their strategy for getting it across to people that really need it has to be very obvious to people. That I want to be able to ask somebody in my neighborhood or that I see in church, say, they came to our street, or my cousin got this and he shared with me. That way you can tell that it's getting to them. But we're not really hearing too much of that. I know Lagos State is doing a lot. I know there's a committee that was formed and they're doing a lot. So we want to appeal to the stakeholders, because the government can't be the one going to distribute to people in the neighborhood. So the people that it's supposed to trickle down from should have good conscience and let it get to the right people.
Pastor Yemi David, what do you see in the Nigeria of the closest future you can see? What do you see?
We have a leadership challenge in Africa. Everything gets better when leaders get better. We need to improve on our leadership. And I think, and if you cannot change the world, you can change your own, you can do some bits in your own constituency. I want to say this to pastors. We speak to people every week. We encourage them every week. But can we also take it further by developing leaders in our churches, training them for the future? It's going to help their parenting. It's going to help their businesses and careers. And then if by chance some of them are elected or appointed or even become the spouse, then they can add value. Leadership leadership that is committed to adding value would make the difference. We're not asking for perfect leaders. We're asking for leaders that will add value to the lives of the people. Let's be a blessing to the people that we meet on our journey.
Oh, thank you so much. Maybe that'll be uplifting for anyone. It's amazing how words can really soothe you, but the next minute reality will come knocking and say, "Shey, wake up. How much money do you have to pay to buy fuel and everything?" You have to be able to do something. Before we let you go this morning, you've really said the words that are very important, but what are the things you're expecting from the bloc? I'm extending this to Africa because there's no how we can live in isolation. Right now, the Mali, Niger, and the issues around those blocs that have caught away right now seem to be having some impact on our economy and even our existence together as a bloc. What do you see governments across board doing to ensure that at least even security of all things is put in place in the country?
I mean, it's still the bottom-up approach. You have to engage the people at the grassroots. Okay, if you do things from your, try to use the word high office, your solution might not really hit the mark. I think we need to engage with community leaders, religious leaders, traditional leaders on what is happening. Then based on what is happening, what they're experiencing, you now curate the right solutions, like customized solutions, you know, the way you give somebody a pack of food and add some things to it that it can really go home and cook and eat. Another you're saying, go and do this and do this and do this. So the same way for security, what is happening in Yobe State, what is happening in Zamfara, what are the real issues? Then the military can pick up from that and then curate the right cost, because sometimes what fits Zamfara might not be what fits Katsina. Depending on the situation on ground. If you don't do that, you can be doing a whole lot and yet not have enough output in that sense.
All right, I've been speaking with the chairman of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Pastor Yemi Davids, in the house. He's actually the one in charge of Lagos State chapter, and we will hope to bring you more often onto the show. If you're not coming physically, which we'll look forward to, I mean, virtually to talk to the young people, which is one thing I like to say as a wrap up today, your words, your message to the youth.
Yeah, young people, let's not give up hope. Let's not really ask what our country will give to us in that sense, but what can we do to be a blessing to the country? Let's take responsibility where you are. As I said earlier, instead of cursing the darkness, let's light a candle. What can you do where you are to make the nation a better place?
Thank you so much, Pastor Yemi Davids, for coming onto the program today.
Thank you for having me. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, that's that particular conversation today. I'm sure it's going on where you are. So many things going through your head as to what to do per time. But let's let you know that in all of this, we have to keep our head just straight and see how we can move through this moment. Stay with us on Newshub with sweet guests in just a moment and talk health. To stay with us.